Hi everyone, Keren here from tuppencecolored.co.uk. Thank you for joining me. Today's project is, as you can see, a Christmas card. And it's a circle flip card, so when you pull on the flap, the centre panel swings back and forth. Sometimes they're called a swing card, sometimes they're called a flip card. But this is one with a bit of a twist because it's got a hidden panel. And you could hide, I don't know, you could hide money in there, you could hide a gift card in there, or you could put plain paper in there and write an extra special secret message. Entirely up to you. Very, very easy to do, so stick with me and I'll show you how I did it. This is the prototype of the card I made, and I used Cherry Cobbler and Lost Lagoon when I made this one. I'm going to make it in a slightly different colourway today. So I've got a piece of real red card, which is about 9 inches by about 6 inches long. And I'm going to be cutting it out using this die set, which is the circle card set of thin nuts. Now, because I'm making the hidden flap, there's a few ways of doing it, but this way, to be honest with you, I find very, very easy. So first of all, I've got my Thinlits die, and I'm going to put it on my card face up for the time being, and I'm going to make a mark with a pencil where the edge of the die comes to. I'll put that on one side just for a second, and oops, I've got my embossing tool, and I had a ruler here a minute ago, there it is, and I've got my silicone mat, and I'm just going to score. I'm going to line that up on my grid paper so that I've got a straight line right the way through, because I am notorious for scoring all wonky lines. And I'm going to score along there. Put those to one side because I'm finished with them, and bring in my bone folder, and I'm going to just fold along that line. With me so far? I've got my platform. I get the platform from my Big Shot and my cutting plate, and I've folded over my real red card. Can you see that? Let's get that straight. Let's move that out the way. Now, I'm putting this on top of the real red card so that I've got just a tiny bit. It just misses the edge of the real red card. You can see, just about get my fingernail in there. So I'm going to put the top plate on, and I'm going to take that away and run that through my Big Shot, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. And I'm back. So I've put this through the Big Shot. I do have to be quite firm with it, but fear not, it will go through. Even though you've got 2 layers, it will go through. So I don't want this little bit on the end here, so I'm just going to come in with my craft scissors, and I'm just going to cut that off. Just snip, snip, snip. These are very good scissors. They aren't the most inexpensive scissors you will ever buy, but they are very, very good. Right, so I've got my little bit on the left, and I'm just going to train all of those folds in both directions, and that is how my card is going to fit together. Easy as that. Okay, so put that on one side for a minute while we work on the topper. So I've gone ahead, and I'm using paper from the Home for Christmas set, and I'm using 2 of the sheets. This one is all covered with lots and lots of little Santas going down the chimney. He's skating, he's waving to you, and you've got mirror images of each one. So you've got you've got a Santa facing left there and a Santa facing right there, and you've got one facing right there, so who's skating, and you've got one facing left there. So you've got a number of mirror images of all of the Santas. And the other thing in the same set is you have this background paper, which is a dead match for the background to the Santas. So I have a Broken Habit of a Lifetime, and I have done some fussy cutting. And now on the first one, I used the waving Santa. This time I'm going to use the skating Santa. And I have a left-facing skating Santa and a right-facing skating Santa. It's not that easy for you to say. And I've cut 2 2-inch circles, and from the die cuts from the Thinlet set, I've also die cut 2 scallop circles out of Pool Party. So now I'm going to assemble them all together. So I'm going to use a little bit of wet glue. And it may go quiet for a minute, because once you've seen, it's a bit too much there, so just spread that out a bit. Once you've seen one person glue in, you've kind of seen them all. So see you in a bit. Alright, there are my 2 medallions. So I'm now going to put one on the front and one on the inside. So more gluing. Alright, so there he is. When you open the card, he's still there. While I was over at the Big Shot, I also die cut out another one of the circle cards, but this time I cut it out of the Pool Party DSP, and I also cut another piece which is from the Home for Christmas DSP, but I folded it in half and I only cut that side, which is the thicker side, because this is going to line the inside of the card. So I'll just put that on one side for a moment, because I want to trim this down a little bit, because otherwise it will just be too big. So I've got my stamping trimmer and I'm lining the edge of the card up with, I don't know if you can see, but there's the line, there's the groove in the middle where the blade goes, and there's another groove alongside it. I don't know how well you can see it, but trust me, it is there, and that's what I'm using to line up my paper, because I'm just going to trim off. Let's get the scoring blade out of the way. I just want to trim off just enough, just a wee, you know, about 1/8 of an inch on all sides. So excuse me if I go quiet while I'm doing this, because I really do need to concentrate. And again, we're not quite finished, because I now want to split these parts off. I'm going to cut that away. Same thing on this side. Just going to cut that piece away. And I'm also going to trim along this edge. turn it over because I find it easier to have something to grip onto at the top of the card, or the paper I should say. Whoops. Yeah, hold it firmly so that it doesn't move around. I would surely put my trimmer away. That other piece that I cut down, it's going to be the same thing on there. And I'm not cutting anything away yet because it's easier to cope with it while it's all in one piece. And now I'm cutting away the fold. So now I have two pieces, and they do need to be mirror image of each other. So now I can put my Stampin' trimmer away, and I can get rid of all of this rubbish and knock my glue on the floor, but that's okay because I don't need that right at the moment. Alright, so I've got my snail. And again, you could use a liquid glue on this if you preferred. Just for the sake of speed, we'll use some snail. Okay, so that's the front of the card covered. Actually, it's a good job snail is quite forgiving because I think it needs to come in a little bit further this way. Yes, that's more like it. It's much more like it. So I've got a little bit of a red edge showing there, the same as on the other side. And now I'm going to do the inside. Now before I stick anything down on the inside, I am going to check that I have got a space, a gutter if you like, going down the middle, because if I haven't it won't fold very well, and I have. In we go, and the same thing on the other side. Now if I hadn't folded the paper, what I would have had is this side showing, it would have been kind of like that, which isn't right, unless of course that's the look that you want, in which case, you know, do you know what, there are no Christmas card police. You do what you like. You do whatever works for you. Okay, here we are. One more thing before we finish with the inside of the card. This is a piece of very vanilla envelope paper. We've just started doing this envelope paper, which is it's almost like a photocopier weight paper, and it comes in the in colours for this year, and they've got a pattern on one side and a plain colour on the other. But it also comes in the neutrals, which is very vanilla, crumb cake, and whisper white, and it's very, very useful, and it's perfect for making envelopes, as you would suggest. But it's also perfect for times when you just want a little bit of paper. And I've stamped on it with from our Wondrous Wreath stamp sets, just a to and from, and I've stamped on it in real red, so that gives you somewhere on the inside of your card to write your greeting. So that's coming along quite well so far. So all we need to do now is to put a little bit of stamping on the front. Okay, so because I've got real red in my background here, I've got my real red stamping pad, and I've cut myself a 1-inch piece of very vanilla cardstock, which is about, I don't know, 4 inches long, something like that. And I'm going to be using this stamp from Cheer All Year, which is a very, very useful seasonal set. Got it mounted up on my block, and I'm just going to bring my silicone mat back in so that I've got a little bit of smoosh, a little bit of squish underneath the card. So, whoops, didn't want to do that really, never mind. And I apologise for bounce cam here. I just put that straight because otherwise it'll be making my eyes go funny. I should have taped it down really. I don't know why I didn't. I usually do. Okay. So I've got my my flag straight, and I'm just going to go straight down and straight back up again, and there I have stamped. Whoops, and I have got red ink all over me like I usually do. Where's the towel? Okay, right, now this, let's put that out of the way before I stick my thumb in it again, because that's another thing I'm well known for doing. Alright, so here's my 1-inch banner, and I'm going to put it into my triple banner punch, which is a very clever piece of kit, because you can punch paper that's 2 inches, 1.5 inches, or 1 inch wide, and you can create these lovely little flags. So it goes in there, you can see it in the underside, and just snap, and out it comes. Okay, so well, there's the snail, and just a little bit of snail. Oh, where did that come from? It wasn't there before. A little bit of snail on the one side, keeping it well away from this part, and I'm going to pop it onto the front of my card, just like that. And we're getting there. We're nearly finished. So on this card, I can go back to this one, so you can see I tied a little knot in the cherry cobbler thick baker's twine. We don't do the thick baker's twine in real red, so I'm using very vanilla, and all I'm just doing is I'm just taking it, making 2 bunny ears, and wrapping the one around the other, and pulling through. Whoops, let's start that bit again, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'll show you on the original. We put a, oops, the sequins coming off. We put a little bow in 3, 2, 1. So show you on the, so if I can bring the original back in, you can see that we tied a little bow in the cherry cobbler extra thick baker's twine. Now it doesn't come in real red, so we're going to put our bow in very vanilla. So I'm going to make a bunny ear, and I'm going to make another bunny ear, and I'm going to wrap my bunny ears around each other, dun, 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 and pull through, and there's my little bow. Give that, pull that quite firmly, and snip that off. And I'm not going to worry about it coming unraveled, but I am going to adjust it till I get the size that I want, and just trim off those ends a little bit because they're a bit too long. Okay, so put in a little dab of my Tombow glue, and so just needs a little bit of bling to finish it off, and I've got some of our our metallic sequins embellishments. You get loads in a pot. It says here approximately 750, which will keep you going for a very long time. And I've also got our fine tip glue pen, and this kind of thing is what this was designed for. So I'm going to take off the white tip, not the black tip, although it will want to come, and I'm just putting a little dab of the glue there and there, and another one there. Okay. Put the top back on, support it with my finger as I do so. It can be a little bit fiddly, but, and remember, store it standing up. I said standing up. Okay, so just get a sequin in place. And there we are. So here are the finished cards side by side. This is the original, which is the one that, just to remind you, is in Lost Lagoon and Cherry Cobbler, and this is the one that we just made on screen now, and that is in Pool Party and Real Red. So this one is a little bit darker and more age looking, and this one is bright and cheerful, but I think they both look very lovely, and they both work, I think, either way. So I'd be happy to get either of them, quite frankly. So that's it for now. Thank you for joining me. If you want to find out more information, then by all means do check out the more information box below the video, and that's where you'll find my Facebook page and my blog. Please do visit, please do leave me a comment. I absolutely love getting comments from you all, and that's it for now. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.